Howdy, folks. Well, this one's gonna be a first for me. This is the first time I've ever watched like a streaming series and reviewed it here on my channel. And I normally don't like watching streaming series because everyone is engineered to basically get you to keep watching it, right? Something about the episodic nature of television just doesn't appeal to me as much. Like, I don't want to have to watch 10 hours to get a storyline that just keeps you stringing you along, like the Lost thing, right? You know, Lost, it's a mystery, everybody, plane crash, we're all here, and okay, what's the situation? Well, it just keeps getting weirder because there's more mysteries, and you dig into the first mystery and then there's another layer of mystery in there, and it just feels like they just build on everything. Then you're bound to be disappointed, because I mean, look at like Game of Thrones. We all know how Game of Thrones kind of shit the bed at the end there, right? Today I'm going to talk about Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Now, this of course came out in late 2023. I didn't actually watch it until this new year. I do not subscribe to Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus, or whatever it's called, because I just don't care about streaming series at all, and streaming kind of sucks, if you ask me. I prefer physical media, as you can tell by all the other videos that I've done here. VHS AF, DVD AF. I prefer physical media. I got something in my hand that I can watch. I'm kind of glad that I got to watch Legacy of Monsters basically for free. A friend downloaded it and put it onto a stick for me, and I watched it on my TV. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. But for the time that I invested into this series, I really didn't get that much payoff. Now, I'm a Godzilla fan. Of course, you know that. I've done like a bunch of Godzilla movies on my channel here before. Anyway, I love kaiju movies. I love anything to do with Godzilla. I had high hopes for this series because I had just seen Godzilla -1 and was a fantastic movie, and I'm going to get to reviewing that right away. But Legacy of Monsters, yeah, I had high hopes for it because it seemed like it had pretty good production value, and the stuff they show you in the trailer, the monster stuff, looked like it had pretty good effects in there. Overall look of the series is really good, like good, well produced, just like every other streaming show. It's a sci-fi, of course, and it deals with Monarch Corporation that basically deals with giant monsters and learns about them, and has all these different plans for controlling the monsters or subduing them or cooperating with them. Of course, Monarch was first introduced to us in Godzilla 2014. They didn't go into a whole lot of detail in that one, but then we saw Kong Skull Island, and that one actually had John Goodman in there as a Monarch agent. John Goodman does show up in the very first part of this series, and he shows up in the very last part of this series as well, but it's mostly like flashbacks, and nothing is current day because of course he died in Kong Skull Island. But I was glad to see that they got him back for this. And unfortunately, he's not in it very much. Well, his character is, but John Goodman himself doesn't appear very much in this show. A couple of notable actors that do appear in this show, though, are Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell, his son. Now, they play the same character, but at different moments in time. And the show basically is about the formation and the subsequent actions of the Monarch Corporation. That's all very well and good. So you'd think, this is the company that's going after Godzilla and going after all these other kaiju, giant monsters, rather titans, I should say, because kaiju, I think that name was licensed by Pacific Rim, and that's a whole different universe. Anyway, you'd think you'd see a bunch of these titans in there. And you see a few. I guess overall, I think you get like about 5, 6 different ones in here, and that's pretty cool. Maybe 7. But the scenes are so short, and the monster scenes it's only like every second episode that you actually get any monster action, and it's like usually like about a 4 or 5 minute scene, and you had to sit through 2.5 hours in some cases of just boring ass what is this, a spy drama? I don't fucking care. I don't care about the humans that were flying the giant helicarrier thing in Godzilla King of the Monsters. They were all idiots. And in Godzilla vs. Kong, of course, you have Monarch as well. But they're basically just cardboard cutout characters, and who cares about them? We came here for monsters. So you call the show Legacy of Monsters. I mean, I get it. It's like poetic, and it's about the legacy of this corporation and what are they contributing to the planet. But it's also about monsters, not necessarily just the kaiju titans, but also about some of the characters, and to see over the years how they develop and how they're viewed by other people, and are they doing the right thing? Are they being good to the planet by stopping these monsters, or by studying them and cooperating with them? But I don't care about the human drama. I really don't. As good as an actor as Kurt Russell is, and Wyatt Russell too, they both put in really good performances here, and all the other actors are fine. It's just, the story was just fell into this like, oh great, it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. all over again. We came here to see superhero action, and you get a bunch of people running around reacting to things that they think are superhero action, but the actual amount of superhero action is limited to like 10% of the show. And in the case of this show, it's about there. It's about 10%. You do get some good scenes with Godzilla. They try and blow him up with an H-bomb. They also, apparently that explains the whole Bikini Atoll test. And it's kind of neat how they work that into actual history and their cinematic universe history. And there's another time when he like emerges from the middle of the Sahara somewhere, and that's a pretty cool scene, because I mean that harkens back to the, Godzilla's introduction in the classic Godzilla vs. Mothra, and you get a good Godzilla scene at the very end. I mean, it's all well and good, but there just ain't enough Godzilla in here. I was expecting Godzilla, and I got some, but I just got this much. And I got a whole bunch of crap about estranged fathers and missing relatives, interdepartmental espionage, and scientists versus the military, and all these other themes that I've seen in so many things. I just don't care. I mean, I came here for the sci-fi and not for the action, human action. I came here for the sci-fi action. Came here for the monsters. Yeah, like I say, you get to see about like 7 different monsters, but the total amount out of these like 10 hours of show that I watched, I'd have to say it amounts to maybe about 20 minutes out of 10 hours. Like, that's not enough. In the span of 3 days, I watched episodes 1 to 10. And I got really bored around episode 5, 6, 7, and there just wasn't any monster stuff going on, and I don't care about so-and-so needs to run from their past because they had they'd done something illegal and the company is after them, and fuck it, show me Godzilla. I don't know, overall, I mean, like, it's a quality show. If you like watching streaming shows and you don't mind being strung along to see some which are truly amazing things, if you don't mind the slow burn and the slow build up, then this is for you, especially if you like Godzilla, right? I don't know. I mean, Godzilla Minus One had the human drama, and it had the emotion, and it was accomplished way more in its 2 hours than this series did in its 10 hours. I didn't get any like emotional connections to any of these characters. Maybe Kurt Russell's character a little bit. I don't know. I mean, you can't not like Kurt Russell, right? He's the one anchor. Well, him and Godzilla, I guess, right? I guess I got to give it a letter grade, so I'm going to give it B minus. B minus because it got really boring in some parts, but it also did have some good monster scenes. Just too few and far between. I had high expectations for the show, seeing the trailers and stuff, and when I finally watched it, it was a bit of a slog. And I'm so glad that I didn't subscribe to Apple TV Plus just for this. I will probably try and watch season 2 eventually when that comes out, but not going to be in that big a hurry. So until the next time, folks, have a good one out there.